And I remind you, I plan on doing this for a living, and so over the course of the years, I decided to invest in this thing, and it's paid off because I get really good footage. And you'll see I also have a really good setup in terms of sound. There's a shotgun microphone on top of there, but I'll explain what that's like in a second. That's my room. You can see my underwear before.
Where's Burton?
Burton, he's been abducted. No, I can't explain that one. Yeah, I use a shotgun microphone pointed right at me. Shotguns are actually very sensitive, and you typically don't want to use them indoors, but it's good for me because I have the air conditioner. You pick up the air conditioner in traffic a lot. That's why you use specialized microphones a lot, like a condenser mic or a shotgun microphone, because if you have a lot of external noise, you'll actually hear it a lot. The AC kicks on. There's traffic outside. There's people having sex upstairs. Shotgun microphone has like a cone of effect, so it only gets directly what's in front of it. Usually you want that. Sometimes you'll actually notice in a lot of my earlier reviews there's a very roomy effect where the sound bounces off the walls. You get that a lot. Like let's say the sound in here is it's a wide open space, so my voice doesn't bounce around. But let's say you were doing this in a bathroom, it would echo all over the place. That's why you want something like that, because it cuts down on echo. One of my favorite microphones is a condenser mic, which I use as a boom mic. It's the AT875R. I don't know if you guys are taking notes or whatever, but this is actually a really cool microphone. It was about, I think, like $170. And what's cool about that one is it has an interchangeable element in it. Like I said, microphones have different shapes. They pick up sounds in different patterns. So like shotguns have a very narrow cone of effect. If you're not right in front of it, a shotgun won't get it. There's the default one is called a cardioid, which actually has like a heart-shaped pickup. It's kind of strange, but if you're big into audio, that one's good because you can change the element out to an omnidirectional, which gets sound from all over the place. But I like that microphone a lot. I use that to boom my. You know what a boom mic is? You have a microphone over the action.
Mm-hmm.
That's another way you cut down on external sound.
Spell your name!
I actually forgot what I was going to say. The acting on camera, have no shame.
Clearly.
Seriously, the real key thing is not being nervous on camera. I know, easy, right? Getting up in front of crowds would terrify most people. I remember there was a study, most people would rather be in the coffin at a funeral instead of giving the eulogy. Very tricky. If you're not comfortable speaking in front of a camera or talking in public, this is really not for you, because you're going to be doing a lot of stuff that's, unless you're being like a journalist, if you want to be very professional and monotone, that's cool, or even-handed. But you can tell, obviously, the pictures, I have absolutely no shame, and I'm willing to basically make an ass out of myself on camera. Then that's a big thing. Now, how does one get better at that? Like, I'm a really great actor. But, really, I started out acting on the stage. I was in drama club in high school. I was in an ASU main stage production. And you can tell I'm very theatrical, very handy, very broad. And so that's really what I do. I'm actually taking lessons now in scaling that back. Really, no, because basically television acting is much smaller. There's a lot of nuance because the camera gets right in your face. But as you can tell, I'm very handy, very theatrical, and I'm very broad. I would really suggest that if you want to learn how to do acting, go. There's community theaters. There's classes out there. If you want to take classes, you don't actually have to be a major to take a theater class. It's a lot of fun, and you get to do stuff you would never normally do, and it helps you just get comfortable reading lines, giving performances, and so that's really the big thing, especially for my stuff, is I'm really giving a performance. I write this shit down, and I can just read it really boring, but it's being able to read copy and doing multiple takes and being comfortable, and that's the big thing, is being comfortable, because if you're nervous, if you're terrified, people are going to sense that, and they're not going to like you. And it's important that people like you and trust you when you're doing reviews. So it doesn't come across like you're being disingenuous. Because if you fake it, people are going to notice this. If you're being really overly cheesy, okay, bad example. But no, I'm saying people trust you. I'm saying you're a good example. People trust you. And rightly so, because you speak your mind. And when you give a performance, it's obvious you're not being overly artificial.
Yeah, except for when the game is super bad, and I have to convey to the audience that this is worse than you'll ever know unless you play it yourself.
Yeah, recording voiceover. I actually don't do recording voiceover. I know people like The Nerd actually kind of goes in front of his camera and has a little booth set up. I actually don't do that all that much. Actually, I learned this from Doug, who he basically records all of his sounds in front of the camera and he just cuts the video out, which I actually like a lot. because when you record on camera and record in your room and then you go in front of a condenser mic and shoot your voiceover, there's a difference in the sound quality. Like I said, it's the difference between shooting in a bathroom and shooting in your bedroom. You know, the sound quality is all different, and it's actually, I actually find it very jarring when it switches from one to the other. So I just record everything in front of the camera. But if you want to do voiceover, you don't need to really spend a lot of money for this. I bought a really good condenser mic called the AKG Perception. It's this blue one. I bought it at a Guitar Center, and it was like a $90 microphone, and it worked great. I actually have a much better one now, but that's because I'm getting acting lessons for commercials, and so I want a really good microphone. That's the Rode NTK. The really tricky part about recording voiceover is you need what's called an interface to get it into your computer. It's like a sound mixer that goes in your computer. And I had a really big problem with that because I upgraded to Windows 7, and none of the interfaces work with Windows 7 yet. That's probably different now, but those are really expensive. Those will range. A bad one will cost about $70. A really good one, about $500. It depends. Like I said, it depends on what you want to do with it. If you're just recording very simple voiceover, the $70 interface will do you. You just don't expect it to do a whole lot. Don't expect like crossfading and multiple channels and stuff like that. You're putting one input in. Something that was really good that I noticed for voiceover, there's a microphone called the Rode Podcaster. It's a condenser mic that's actually powered by the USB port, which is actually very rare. It's a very good microphone, and it powers itself from USB. And the reason that's very hard is because phantom power, USB ports don't actually put out that much power. So to power a condenser mic, it's very tricky. It's a very good one.